Hi, Swifties. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of No Rules, Random Thoughts of a Swiftie. My name is Brianna Peters, and I'm really excited to talk about today's episode because I feel very strongly about it, so I'm excited to get that out to you guys, but I definitely want to hear from you if you have your own Taylor thoughts you want to send me, any predictions you might want to just state here and now so we can look back on it as a group. If there's anything you want to talk to me about what I've said so far on this podcast, I'm down to hear it all. Whatever you want to send me, I'll be very happy to read. You can send an email to norulesswiftiepod@gmail.com. You can DM me. You can leave a comment anywhere on Instagram and TikTok at No Rules Swiftie Pod. And you can find me and my personal accounts on both of those places at Brianna May Peters. That's pretty much it. I want to get into this episode because I get so serious for a second. I have seen and heard some disrespect on I Look in People's Windows name. And I just want to stop that right now. It's not that serious. But I have seen a little bit, like a little bit of people saying like they don't get it or, oh, it's so short. Okay. Like, babe, Taylor Swift's a genius. She doesn't need long to prove it. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. I am feeling sassy and I'm trying to keep all of that inside so I can convey this in a smart way. Look, I look in people's windows from the Tortured Poets department. After this episode is done, please just take a second, listen to it with headphones. Earbuds are fine. That's fine. Not my favorite way to listen to music. If you have like nice headphones, put those on. I swear, just the production alone should make people love this song. Like, the production is so good. I know it's a short song, but sometimes not everything needs to be 4 minutes, crazy drawn out bridge. Like, if everything is epic, nothing is epic anymore, you know, especially with Taylor Swift songs. Like, if everything is exactly the same every single time, it's not going to be special. So I think if you're going to celebrate and love on and respect maybe some of these more like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 minute long songs that have these crazy bridges, like, why can't we respect these songs that are a little bit shorter that kind of just cut right to the core real quick? That's my personal thoughts. That was the smart, nice, easy way of saying it. Now I'm going to go back to being sassy because that's just simply what I do best. Okay, I took notes because I was listening to this song over and over because I personally love it. I think it's a great song for a lot of different reasons, which we'll get into, but I just want to touch on the it's too short narrative of it all, you know? I feel like she kind of, in this song, she definitely, you know, repeats, and that's fine. Like, that's part of what makes a good song good. But if you look into the lyrics of what she's repeating, it is a desperation. It is a plea. And I think if you're struggling at all with this song of trying to understand it or not really getting it or not seeing what the big deal is type of thing, what I would suggest, because this really helps me, is to do visualization or to put characters into this song and imagine what this person that is singing, what this character, that lead character is doing. Like, if you can't personally relate to this song because it doesn't hold any sort of meaning to you, try it that way, because I feel like I get a lot more out of Taylor Swift songs sometimes when I do that visualization and I kind of think, oh, you know, this character, and I take the very realness of it being Taylor Swift talking about this specific thing. Sometimes it's fine. Like, that's great. The clowning, I love it. All of that, like, whatever. But sometimes it's better for me if I can just imagine this character and what she's going through. Now, this song, trust me, I don't need something like that because I have been through something like this. So to me, it hits a chord and like, I get it. So I understand not everything that she says is going to align with something that you've personally gone through. So maybe it's worth, you know, trying out some characters and seeing what they're doing inside of this song. I just genuinely think I Look in People's Windows is an underrated gem of a song. Some of the notes I took here are the guitar. One, love a guitar. Love this guitar that's playing in a lot of these songs, like Guilty as Sin. This one, there's a lot more, but like there's just this, so High School. Oh my gosh, this so many good guitar and piano sounds in TTPD. But I Look in People's Windows has kind of like this straightforward sound to it. It's so good. I really like the guitar. There was something I noticed that there's like a vocoder, like there is in Rep. There's like this that kind of whatever the vocoder does, that like echoey second person harmonizing type of thing, but it's that deep, dark almost type of sound, which I think lends to the sadness of the song and the desperation and the darkness that I think this character is feeling. But like every time a vocoder is present now, I'm like, Reputation. Just that's what it reminds me of so much. But yes, there is a vocoder, and the production. There are birds in the parts where she's like walking outside. Come on, like. This is beautiful. If you take a second to appreciate all these individual parts of this song, not just the lyrics, how Taylor sings it and performs it, but like the actual elements that build up to make this final piece. I don't understand personally how anybody could not like it. The last note I have here is desperation in her voice. Like the way that she sings these lyrics and the pleading of just needing to see this person one more time. Let's talk about it. Like if you've broken up with someone, but it wasn't like a horrible breakup, like you did love them. It could be long-term or not, or maybe they broke up with you and you weren't prepared. You didn't see that coming. There's a lot of situations where this could have happened. I remember breaking up with my very first serious long-term boyfriend, and we had lived together, and it was a joint breakup. Like it was an understanding from both of our sides coming together, like this isn't working. I still struggled so hard. We had lived together for years after the breakup and kind of just wishing I could see him one more time. But knowing that that's not the type of person that I am, I can't just casually be with somebody, around somebody, friendly with somebody. I respect it so much if other people can do it. That's not a me thing. Like I needed to make a clean break, and for a reason, because just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you should be with somebody. Hopefully that makes sense. And it was like that. Like I still had a lot of loving feelings towards this person, but we were not good together long term. So even after this, you start to forget some of the bad things, forget some of the reasons why. Your mind is such a beautiful, disturbing thing, because it will really start to spin narratives and tales, and you're like, babe, I was there. Why are you trying to trick me? But it will do that. It'll be like, but remember the nice times? And you go, I do remember the nice times. And you start to think, well, maybe it could work, or some time has passed now and we're both grown up more, and like all the things that you kind of just say to rationalize just wanting one more time with this person, one more chance, one more time to make it work, like you think like, oh, I could be better, I could do things. And that's not to say like every situation is the same. Sometimes, yes, people come back together, they've changed. But for me, and for what I think is happening in this song, is like, it's the right thing to do is to not be together, but you're so desperate to see them one more time. Like maybe that'll be it. It kind of feels like a rom-com, where it's like, oh, he chases after her at the end, or she sees him later on. I think about the breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, where one version of that movie is like, they have like a different ending, where they see each other, like maybe like a year or so later walking in the street, and they both have a partner with them that kind of looks like the other person, which is just hilarious. But there's kind of like still that spark there between them. And I think that's, to me, is where your brain goes in a song like this, is that you make this desperate plea with yourself and you start to believe these things could exist and it could happen, because why not? And so you're like, if I could just see you one more time, if I could just be in front of you, if we could just make eye contact, if we could just have a moment, I truly believe like we could make this work this time. With all logic and reasoning out the window, and it's just pure passion and love in that moment in time. And this is like a really deep way of just getting into this song and saying, I personally love it. I've been there when I was younger and I was struggling with understanding who I am in the world, what was happening in my life, and then also dealing with a breakup in that time. And I could just understand where she's coming from. So my desperate plea from me to you is, if I look in people's windows as a skip or it's you don't get it, try one more time and try really analyzing the different elements. Because I swear the production on this, the birds, the tone of her voice is heartbreaking. And I don't know. I want more respect put on its name. And just because we're talking about TTPD, and I have been talking about TTPD a lot, I've noticed that, but that's the newest Taylor Swift album, y'all. It's still my whole personality and I love it so much. But the Bolter, I just want to like quickly touch base on the Bolter. I do think the Bolter gets love and attention and people like it. I don't think there's the same, comparison there. But the Bolter, when I listen to it, I'm like, that's very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about the song, and it's not enough to make an episode out of, so I'm just going to throw it on here since we're already talking about the Tortured Poets department. Again, guitar. Let's just talk about it. The guitar sounds so good. The production in this, again, is so good. I love that kind of melody that she's like keeping up with, and the guitar is a little bit more mid-tempo. It is so good, this song. Who called her a whore? Who did it? I just want to talk to him real quick. I just want to have a conversation. I just want to talk to him. Who called her a whore? You think that's real? Because if it's not real, dang, you almost got us all worked up for nothing, Taylor. And if it is real, I just want to talk to him. Give me his name. I want to talk to him. Okay, great. So, like, who's going to call Taylor Swift a whore? How dare you, first of all? Yuck. And then two, no, no, not Taylor. Anyways, the taming a bear, making him care, watching him jump, and then pulling him under is the slay of a century. I'm sorry. That line could pay my rent. I'm like crying because it's so good. Oh, taming a bear, making him care, watching him jump, and then pulling him under. No, stop. That is one of the best things I've ever heard. I think the Bolter, why the song kind of like sticks out to me as being a little like interesting, is a lot of the Tortured Poets department is her story surrounding these two relationships, the ending of these two relationships, and her processing and dealing with those things while also, being a mega pop star. So the prophecy, I can do it with a broken heart. And then there's a couple of like, so high school and the alchemy of, starting to dip your toes into finding love again. And so this album covers a lot of things. And then there's like the Clara Bow and the manuscript that kind of are outliers that aren't really about these things, but more about her and her story. And Robin, which we know to be her and Aaron Dessner wrote that about his child. So there are particular songs that maybe don't fit the Tortured Poets department aesthetic, maybe is what we're talking about. But for me, the Bolter is the total outlier in this, 31 song double album, because it seems like she's saying it about herself. Like she was a Bolter. She is, like, maybe, obviously she's not, she's with Travis, but maybe at the time that she was writing this, she felt like that was her go-to. Her friends, nicknamed her the Bolter. They called her the Bolter. It was like, haha, because, she's always running away. But is she? Like, if we like actually look back on the relationships that we know about and all the public facing information we have, I never really got Taylor Swift as a Bolter from that. And I'm wondering if this is not about her. And that would make me feel better about the whore line, because maybe it's just a character that she kind of came up with. And then that would be something I could understand. But I don't know. I feel like I've never really got Bolter from her. I mean, no, not me forgetting his name and only knowing his real name, not his stage name. Calvin Harris. Jeez. I was going to call him Adam. No, what is with me not remembering men's names? I'll just leave that there. So anyways, I think Calvin Harris, like, she was like, bye, and she bolted, and Tom Hiddleston, she was with him for a little bit, and she was like, see ya, and then she left. I don't know, that's enough to make you a bolter. Like, you were in a 6-year relationship. You're in another committed relationship. You got into another relationship in between those two relationships. Like, I think you're a relationship girly. I don't think you're a bolter. But yeah, I love this song in its production and the way she sings it and the lyrics and everything. It's not a song that I don't like. It's, to me, a song that feels like an outlier on this album. Is anybody else feeling that? Did you like clock that when you heard this song? Were you like, interesting? Taylor Swift, who was just in a 6-year relationship, thinks like she's a bolter? To me, I'm not getting it, but I would be interested to hear your thoughts. What other songs are kind of like that, and even on different albums, that you feel are like very specifically, in your mind at least, interesting to be put onto that album? I feel like that there's a couple on different albums that I could be like, interesting. This one doesn't feel like it fits the landscape or the ethos or the theme of this album. So I got to hear from you guys what you're thinking, what you think about these songs. Please, Lord Almighty, if you were not a fan of I Look in People's Windows, and then because of this podcast, maybe you went and listened and you discovered that you do, please let me know. That would probably make my life. Just that would be it for me. I think I would have done as much as I can do. So I'm just waiting for that day to happen. Just let me know if that happens for you. Tell me all of your thoughts. I need to know them. Let's connect. Let's chit chat. Otherwise, I will see you guys in a new episode next week. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. If there's anybody you want to be a guest on this podcast, like you're dying to kind of know their Taylor thoughts, let me know. I just am starting to think about having like Swifties on to have their Taylor thoughts. So if there's content creators, if there's any sort of comedians or anybody that you love, you know, are Swifties, or you just want to get their Taylor thoughts, like connect with me and let me know, because I would be very interested to getting some people on this podcast. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, for all of the things. I really appreciate you and your time and spending it with me. So thank you so much. Yeah, I will see you guys in a new episode next week. Bye.